Hey, what's up everybody? Today I decided that in honor of Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F coming out in theaters, yay! I am going to attempt to make a Dragon Ball Z themed romper. Now, you know, a lot of us cosplayers, especially here in Hawaii, we like to dress up for movie premieres and whatnot, but for this time I didn't really feel like, oh, I'm gonna go all out and make a Dragon Ball Z cosplay. However, it would be really cool to make an outfit that's kind of like geek chic, much like, you know, I have like this awesome Captain America dress and awesome black milk leggings and stuff. Those are always cool. So I was like, what if I make my own Dragon Ball Z gi themed romper? So, you know, I have the tank top, obviously, and I got this at Hot Topic, but I figured, you know, make something that's unique to me, and yeah, so I am going to try to make a romper today. I have not done this before. I'm recording this as I go, and so we'll see how it works out, but if it all works out, it's going to be kind of a how-to, and if it doesn't work out, it's going to be a how to not do this. So yeah, let's get started.
So some of the basic materials I'm using for this project includes, of course, the orange spandex, blue spandex, white spandex, and black spandex. I also have a fluffy dog. Actually, get rid of the dog, she's kind of pesky and in the way. Alright, so here's my 4 basic colors of materials. The dog likes to sit on the fabric, so I kicked her out of the room. I also use orange thread, blue thread, and a nice sharp pair of scissors.
Okay, so first of all, I am going to use an existing bodysuit that I have to trace a pattern out, because I know it fits me, and that way I don't have to do guesswork. But if you haven't made a bodysuit before, it's good to, you know, like maybe use an existing romper or shorts, or like use clothes you already fit, or you can, you know, try to like get other material and make yourself a pattern. But for me, because I've been sewing so much spandex lately, I am going to just use what I have. And I'm going to cut it bigger than this is, because it's always better to go bigger and then cut in rather than not cut enough and look like sausage stuffed into spandex. And the pen I'm using is a disappearing ink pen. I usually recommend, you know, checking on your material first, because I've had it not disappear from some materials before. But I figure, you know, this is for fun, fast and simple, and I usually cut off the ink part anyway, so I'll just use it.
The great thing about sewing with spandex is that it's pretty forgiving, so as you can see, I am not being careful at all.
Okay, now that I traced the outline, I will cut it out. Adventure time. Okay, and so since I want the top to be kind of baggy, I'm going to very loosely trace a tight-fitting tank top. It's going to be loose, but it's, you know, to get the general shape of it. I folded it up here, you know, usually it's longer and slimmer, because we're going to add a middle belt part sewn into the romper. So, yeah. And I'm actually just going to trace a square for now, square shape, because we're going to have to cut different parts into this.
So one thing you'll see me do is fold things in half and cut it that way in an effort to make things more symmetrical. Doesn't always work though.
So I actually had some blue spandex left over from my Fallout costume, so I am going to use that for the belt. Okay, so because the orange is a little bit sheer, I'm actually going to line it with white just for the shorts part, because I don't like to be too hot on top, especially here in Hawaii, it's super hot. So yeah, I'm going to basically trace out sections of white just for lining the shorts part of the romper, but we're going to do something else from the top, so not going to worry about it right now. Okay, and so once you get the lining cut out, I'm just going to go and serge these together. Make sure that you have the correct parts of the fabric, so the inside part of the fabric touching the inside part of the fabric, so it matches. Because with spandex, it's kind of hard to tell like which is the outside, which is the inside, and you can kind of just choose, like make a choice, but just make sure it's a consistent choice and you don't have like one side of the fabric showing in one section and the other side's showing in another section, because you can't tell. So yeah, be careful.
Sergers are definitely my favorite thing, and I would not be sewing spandex without it, so get yourself a serger. It will make your life so much easier.
Okay, so now that I've gotten the lining sewn to the spandex, so white and orange on either side, I'm going to match the two orange sides together and work on sewing this into a pair of shorts. But as you're sewing it, make sure you don't sew the magical crotch area because we need to make the magical crotch section. Okay, so I have sewn the shorts together. They're inside out, orange is on the inside. But I have also left the magical crotch hole because in order to not get a camel toe in your spandex bodysuit, you're gonna want to sew in kind of an oval, pointed ovalish crotch shape, kind of like this, into it, and then that lets the fabric stretch while like not getting like extreme camel toe that you would get if you just sewed all of this together. So I'm going to cut out the magical crotch piece. And here is the magical crotch piece. As you can see, it is kind of ovalish shape, and I am going to serge the two sides together and then trim it down a little even further when I sew it actually into the crotch of the shorts.
So first I serged the two layers of the magical crotch piece together, but then I moved my regular sewing machine in order to actually sew it into the crotch section because I find that it's easier to control and make sure that it's symmetrical rather than trying to serge it in because you don't really want to have a crooked crotch now, do you? Didn't think so.
So now that I've got the shorts done, all lined, white's on the inside, orange on the outside, except now they're inside out because that's how you sew. I am going to cut a section, so you're going to just want to pick which sides of your shorts is going to be the front, because since these are made equal in size, but you have a butt, it's gonna sit lower in the back than in the front, so to even that out, I'm going to cut a section out of the front. Okay, and now I'm going to take the belt part and go and sew all that together.
So first of all, I'm serging the two ends of the belt together to make one big loop, and then sewing that loop in with the serger onto the top hem of the pants so that it becomes a belt and it's attached. Good job me.
Okay, so now I'm ready to start the top, but I do want to do a back symbol on it, and I'm actually going to use the kanji for my maiden name, Nagata, on the back, just as like my own little, like, this is me, this is my symbol on the back of my gi. But how to do that, you might ask? Well, I've thought about this a lot, and I've decided to do a cutout method. So basically, I am going to trace a white circle out of white spandex onto here, and then I'm going to layer it onto a slightly bigger circle of black so that we get the edge of this ring as well as the design on the inside. And so it's not going to be exactly like this one, you know, or this one, but it'll be my own kanji on the back, and then I'm not going to do one on the front, I'm just going to do the one on the back. So I am going to use the white and trace because you can see through, and then use the white circle to cut a slightly bigger black circle, and then cut out the sections of my kanji in the white using scissors, very sharp cuts, and then go from there. So we'll see how that works. Okay, and here is my white on black. So the next step is going to be getting the back side of this and tracing a hole about the size of the black, because what I'm actually going to do is sew the black directly into the back of the orange, and then first though I'm going to cut out the kanji shape in the white so that the black will show through. And then I'm going to either stitch it down or use some adhesive, fabric adhesive. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet. We'll see how it goes, how the shape goes when I first cut it out. Okay, so I have now printed out the kanji that I am going to use on the back, Nagata, which is my maiden name, and I am going to trace it onto the front side so it's not backwards if I flip it, of the white circle, and then cut it out. Yes. And I'm going to trace on the inside of the kanji a little bit to make sure that if I cut right on the outside of the ink, then I'm cutting all the ink off, because I'm not going to like be folding or stitching or hiding anything. Okay, and now that I have it traced onto here, I'm going to cut it out very carefully, which is going to take a while, so I'm not going to film it. Okay, and now that I have managed to very carefully cut out from the white the kanji, as you can see, like, this moves here, I am going to now use peel and stick fabric fuse and very carefully stick the white to the black. Okay, so I actually lied. I ended up not using the peel and stick adhesive, but I ended up using a kind of fabric glue. So it's not the prettiest job because you can kind of see the outlines around the parts that I glued from the glue coming through the white, because the white's pretty sheer, but that's okay. It's very complicated. So while this is drying, and it should take about half an hour to dry, we're going to work on the top. So, like I said, one half of the top we're going to cut out and sew this into it, like so. And then the other side is actually going to be more of like a V scoop neck kind of shape, and then let a little bit of blue show underneath. Now in the anime and everything, Goku's gi, you know, he has the blue shirt that kind of comes out and does like almost cap sleeves kind of on the side. I've decided not to do that because I want to just have bare shoulders, but I'm still going to have that little blue detail in here in the romper.
So here I go, cutting out the neck hole and then using the blue spandex that I have in order to measure out the under part and just sew it in like a panel. And then, you know, making sure everything fits together, cutting out the hole in back orange, getting ready to sew that in, and putting everything together. Lots of pinning. Always use lots of pins when working with spandex, and try to keep stuff from moving as much as possible because the machine will stretch it out when you go to sew it. I decided to sew the sides together with my regular sewing machine, and I was sewing right on the inside of the serged seam so that it's double reinforced on the sides, rather than me worrying about it falling apart in the middle of watching Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. I also went in and rolled in the sleeves to make a little like rolled hem so I wouldn't have the raw serger thread texture on the outside. Woohoo! Finally done sewing! And there is the finished product. So then before I sewed it all together, I did one last try-on where I tested the length of the top and bottom and saw where I wanted to trim what before I attached them together and made it into one piece. And yes, the back symbol is slightly crooked, but oh well, it was my first try.
And hours later, the sun's gone down, but finished. And here's the turnaround. So the last things I did was I trimmed some excess off of here to shorten the top part. And then I also ended up shortening the shorts a little bit. I didn't like the long biker shorts look, but I still wanted to make sure that these shorts were long-ish, so I'm not flashing anybody with anything, so I can go and do really bad kicks like that. So yeah, that was my process of making a Dragon Ball Z inspired romper. And you know, spandex, so it's big enough that I can just like crawl in and out of it, stretching it, so I don't have any zippers or anything. So it's pretty easy. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you all enjoy watching Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.